Good morning, stamping friends. How's everyone doing today? My name is Lorri Heiling, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I hope you guys are doing well. I have a project that I want to share with you, and I'm actually casing the catalog, which is kind of fun. I don't even know if I've ever done that before, but it was just so easy because the layout was there, and I just had to order one thing that I was missing, and so I am really happy with how it turned out, and I think I'm going to do this more often because they have great designers for Stampin' Up! I also wanted to remind you that my online card club deadline for July is coming up. If you register by the 10th of the month, then you will get in on the July's projects. And also, I wanted to remind you that the stamp set that we're going to be using is called Just My Type, and it's just really a fun, versatile set. And so that's what we're going to be working with. I also want to bring your attention to my cruise that's going to be coming up. I know it's a long way away. You're probably going to get sick of me talking about it, but I'm going to be setting up a Facebook page for anyone who is even slightly interested in it, and for those of you who have already signed up. So I will put the link to that, and you can come and browse there and see if you have any questions, or you might want to just check out that area and see if it's something that might fit you for a little vacation getaway where you can cruise the Caribbean and also get your paper crafting fix. So it's going to be a fun time. All right, let me get to today's project, and thank you so much for joining me today. Today I am going to be casing a card right out of the catalog, and the stamp set that I'm going to use is called Coffee with Friends. And you can bet when I looked through the new catalog and spotted this one, this was one of my first ones on my list because I'm such a coffee lover that it doesn't really matter what kind of stamp set it is. As long as there's coffee on it, I'm probably going to purchase it. So this is what we're going to make, and I'm going to share with you how I did this. We're using lots of blends and some blending brushes, but it's just a very simple card. The only thing that takes a little bit longer is all the coloring with it. So I started off by using basic white thick cardstock. And this is an 8.5 by 5.5 inch piece, and we are just going to score it in half on the long side. And I always recommend using a bone folder, and you'll get a nice crisp edge here. All right, now the next thing we're going to do is set this aside, and we are just going to use a 5.5 by 4.25 inch piece of basic white cardstock. This one does not have to be a thick one. I use the thick when I do card bases, but as far as other layers, I'll just use basic white. All right, the dies that I use is from a die set called Grove Dies, and this isn't a new set. It's one that is new to me. I just got it, but it has been in the catalog before. And it's just a really nice, larger die, and it really doesn't require much except this centered in the middle. And so after you die cut this out, you'll just want to maybe poke out if there's any that are left in here just a little bit. All right, now when we make this, we're going to need to cut out one of these trees because this stamp set is going to be the focal point. And you can see that if I set this behind here, the girls are kind of covered up by this tree, and I want them to be able to peek out more. So we're just going to cut this trunk off. And we'll do this by just taking your paper snips, and you just kind of can go along the edge of the grass here and do your own thing. No one will ever know that you're cutting a trunk out. So just put a little divot in there, and then we'll snip this one up here, and then this one right here. Whoops, I may flip it over. It might be easier this way. All right. There we go. Now you can see that opened it up just a little bit in here and made some more room in there. All right, now we'll set that one aside. And the next thing we're going to do is grab our blending brush. And I usually reach for balmy blue when I do skies and backgrounds. I just like the tone of that. And just in case, I'm going to put a sheet under here. I don't want to get this on my mat. All right, so the trick with blending brushes is you want to start off the paper, because sometimes, like say you re-ink this and there's a lot of ink on there, a lot of times it's going to be really dark in some areas and it's harder to control. It's always easier to start light and add more rather than press hard and put a lot of ink at first. So I think this should be inked up pretty well. And we'll start off here. Oh, I may need to re-ink it. I use this in a class, so I might have to. And I always say less is more for these. So we're just going to start in the middle and start going around like in an oval. And we just need to make a little bit of a background here. Now the stamp of the ladies drinking coffee is going to be on the inside of this as well, but it shouldn't hamper our coloring, or blending, I should say, for the brushes. All right, that looks pretty good. Now, the next thing we're going to do is take Memento black ink, and we're going to put the ladies on here. And Memento is really the only black you can use with blends because it will not make the blends bleed. Now the trick to this is we are going to center it, but we are going to go super close to the bottom, like between, I'd say between 1/4 and 1/8 of an inch, really close to the bottom. And the reason I know this is because if you go too high, the ladies are going to be, their heads are going to be up in the tree and they're going to be, you won't see them very much, but you can see by placing them lower, see how you can see them through the trees here. All right, so now let's do some coloring. The first thing we're going to do is the skin tone, and I am going to reach for, it's Stampin' Up! 900. Now this is flesh tone, and so I want to make one of the gals a little bit darker than the other, and you can see how it doesn't really pick up the blue. So even though you have some blue ink underneath there, it really won't matter. The peach still looks peach here. So, and now the other one, she is, we'll say she's from Minnesota because she is really, really pale. And so I just went even lighter. This is light petal pink, and we're just going to make her with no sun at all, just to change it up a little bit. We'll say this is like in May before she had time to get a suntan. All right, isn't that crazy though, how it'll cover up the blue? All right, there's a little bit of skin on the legs, but to tell you the truth, I think their legs are going to be covered up, but I know for sure their shoes will be, but I'll color their legs just in case. Oh, we have part of their face here too. So anywhere you see skin should be colored. All right, the next color we're going to do is, I'm going to put these away as I use them. There's a lot of blends. I don't want to overwhelm you by showing them all to you because you'll say I don't have all those colors. So it really doesn't matter. Just go with whatever colors you like. Now we're going to use Light Sweet Sorbet for this shirt. And Sweet Sorbet is one of the in colors that was new last year, but I'm so thankful that we still have them because the new set of blends, I think they're really pretty, but they're not as bright and bold as these. So seems like people either like the bright and bold or the more muted, and I tend to lean towards the bright and bold, but I still do like the muted because I know those colors are in. Now what I'm doing is just going back and kind of shading a little bit and adding some darker lines there. Now the next, and I colored her headband as well. Now I'm just going to use Daffodil Delight, and this is the darker pen. And we're just going to color this shirt yellow. All right, and then we'll make this one a brown-haired girl. So I am using pecan pie. Do you say pecan or pecan? I guess either one is okay. This is kind of the color that I use to replace soft suede. I used soft suede quite a bit before, and I was actually pretty surprised that that one retired. But thankfully, they came up with another color that can be used in its place. So it is really a pretty color. Then the other one we're going to do is a dark-haired lady, and this is Dark Smoky Slate. And we'll make her the darker-haired gal. All right. Actually, this isn't taking too long. I like to color. I just got back from babysitting my grandkids in Georgia, and one of them loves to color. And oh man, those books that are total coloring, I could just do that all day. It was so fun. In fact, one time they even went to bed and I went back and finished my picture. All right, we are going to use crumb cake for the bench, and we'll start out by using light crumb cake for all these middle pieces, and then we'll go back with the trim pieces with that go vertical with the dark one. right, now we're gonna put some blue jeans on this girl, and oops, you know what? I forgot to color the bottom part of her shirt that goes below the bench. And then also her shirt is in between here as well. And I bet I missed the yellow as well. Totally didn't see that. So we just need to go between those lines there. Okay, now let's do the pants. We have blue jeans, we'll call that light native navy. And then this pair we're gonna do, I think I have gray. We'll make it light basic black. Like I said, we don't have to do the feet because they are not going to be seen. And then the last one we have is the coffee cups, and we are going to make these Starbucks cups by using dark shaded spruce and just color the little cup hugger. I know they're not green in real life, but that's the only way I could think to make these look like they're Starbucks. Okay. Now let's finish off the card by putting the little top piece on right here. Do you see how it's gonna kind of just make a little, I don't know, maybe I'm gonna trim this tree as well now that I think of it. I want her head to show a little bit more. So we're just gonna trim this little piece, and I better make kind of a couple of divots in it so it looks more natural like a tree. And we'll take this one off and this one. This is one of those things sometimes you don't know until you just start working on it. Now it opened it up a little bit more like that. Okay, that looks better. Now what I want to do, when I have a card that's popped up pretty well like this, I like to add even more dimensional than normal. So I grab my foam adhesive strips to do this, and it'll give it a much larger pop. This is how the full pack looks when you get it. Oops, let me just pull one of these out. And sometimes I don't even pull the whole thing off. I just take that backing piece. But for this one, I bet we will need a full strip just because we're gonna put it in a lot of spaces. And I usually don't even, well, I just have it on the side of my table here like this. And then I usually just rip it, but you could, you know, use the scissors. But just start placing it all around the edges, and for sure put it in between here, because like I always say, you don't want sagging cards in the middle. How are you guys doing this summer? Is it getting warm anywhere? It is going to be 111 on Sunday, so we are definitely getting up in temperature. But we do have a swimming pool, and I have a small window of comfort. I'm kind of a wimp when it comes to our pool, and I need it 88 degrees or higher. So it's finally going to hit the right number for me so I can actually go in our pool. Oh man, I do not like to be cold. All right, whoops. I think we'll put one more on the trunk here. All right, let's try that. I might have to stand to make sure I get it centered. And I don't think we need that anymore. There we go. Now, the only thing, this card is still a little bit naked, so I am going to grab a small banner, and this is from the Zany Zoo Animals. I think that's the name of it. And it has just a cute little basic banner. And then the sentiment that I'm going to put on is let's get together. And I'm just going to use Memento Black again. Hope I can get this straight. I'm at a weird angle again. All right, and then I'm going to use, this time I'm just going to use dimensionals on the back. Just a couple should do it. And then what I'm going to add is just one little white bow. I already colored or tied this before, so all I have to do is add a mini glue dot. Add this below. I think I put it above before, but I have a little more room on the bottom, so I'll put it right down here. There we go. All right, now, as you can see, I got two little blobs of black. So this will be a little commercial for my little eraser from Amazon. This is just, I believe, called a Tombow eraser, and it has some grit in it, kind of like when we had in the old days when we learned how to type. Do you remember those erasers? Well, it actually is you lifting the fibers off the paper, and that's how you can get rid of ink that is accidentally stamped on light paper. You have to do a little bit of elbow grease though, and see how that one disappeared. Now we're going to make this one disappear. I was hoping I could stamp it without doing that, but this is, like I said, a good commercial because I use this all the time. It used to be longer, and you can see for how much I use it, I make a lot of mistakes. But sometimes the reason this happens is because you get too much ink on there and it grabs where it's not supposed to on the red rubber. And almost done here. I should have probably cleaned it off before I put the glue dot on, but I thought maybe it won't bother me, but as I looked at it, of course my eye goes right to that. All right, so that's pretty good. Oh, I still had a little bit left. Scrub a little bit harder. So now I'm guessing I'm gonna have to put the link here because you're all gonna want that, but I do use it a lot, and Stampin' Up! Does not sell it, so I'm not afraid to share with you one of my little tricks there. All right, there we have it. Okay, now for the inside, let's add another sentiment, and we have one that says, coffee with a friend is like happiness in a cup. So we're gonna use Memento Black, and I'm gonna be careful not to get those ultrasounds, I call them. So I'm gonna look at the stamp before I stamp it, and then just go in the center here. And then I'm going to use the stamp that has the little coffee cup and croissants with it. And let's put this down here. And then we are going to color a little bit more. I put my blends away too fast, but I forgot that I colored on the inside. So I think we'll do yellow for one of the cups here. I am a peppermint mocha type of coffee drinker, and do you know, in Arizona I've only found one store that sells it year-round. Usually it's kind of a seasonal drink for Christmas, but Fry's, that's right by our house, sells it year-round. And oh man, when they're out, like during COVID, oh man, I had to talk to the manager. I'm like, what do I have to do to get my peppermint creamer? I was writing to the company, and I don't know why. I just cannot drink black coffee. It's a little bit too bitter for me. I'm a foo-foo coffee drinker. So we'll make both of these coffees. And I guess we'll do our croissants about the same color. And the plates, the saucers, I think I'll make those I'll just go a light petal pink with those, kind of a neutral. And one more is the little spoon, and make that like the light smoky slate. There we have it. All right, well, that's the end of our card. And as I said, this is my host code here, and if you place a $50 order and use the host code, I will send you a thank you card along with a gift of Stampin' Up! Product as my way of saying thank you for your order. I so appreciate it. And don't forget, we are winding down in our starter kit special. You can choose $155 worth of products for only $99. And just because you're a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator does not mean that you have to do classes. It just means you're a discount shopper similar to Costco, and you get all of your orders on sale. And so I would love to have you join my team. And if you're interested, please contact me and I will help get you signed up. And there's a website that I can send you the link to, and all you have to do is fill out your choices on there, and then you'll be on your way. And we can communicate on that if you'd like. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget about my online card club. Don't forget about the cruise coming up in 2025, and also my Cozy Craft Retreat. I still have kits available. The in-person is sold out, but I do have a few more kits, so the deadline is coming up on that as well. So I hope that you'll take part in one of the many things that I have going on in the Stampin' Up! World. Thank you again, everyone, and have a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.